welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Erica. Thank you so much for clicking on my video. I would love to have you subscribe, like, comment, and if you're returning, welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. So today's video is going to be a collab. This is the first time that I have ever collabed with this creator, and I am so excited. Her channel name is MAKEUPBYPIAW. I will definitely have that linked in the description box. She and I met through Instagram. I just noticed through my feed that her pictures were popping up and they were so beautiful. I was so taken with her beautiful eye looks, and she also has some beautiful jewelry that she shows on her page. And so I instantly went and followed her, and we just started chatting and instantly hit it off. She is incredible. She's in her 50s. She lives in Denmark. And then I soon figured out that she had a YouTube channel, so I went and subscribed to that. She has such fun videos. She does unboxings, get ready with me's, new makeup releases, and I thoroughly enjoy watching her videos. She's got a great sense of humor, and she creates such stunning eye looks. She is not afraid of color, she's not afraid of shimmer, and I just love that about her. So not too long ago, she did a look on her Instagram page using the OPV Beauty Spotlight palette. And I've had that palette sitting in my box of shame for months. That's the theme on my channel. You know it is. I just get these palettes and plunk them in my box and leave them there. Great. And so I commented on her page. I told her the pictures that she posted on her page. And I said, I have that palette and I really need to use it. And I'm pretty sure it was her idea to do this collab. I think she said, well, then let's do a collab and you can use the palette. And I was like, yes, let's do that. Just to tell you a little bit about the brand, OPV Beauty is located in East London, and it's owned by two women of color, two sisters, and their whole goal behind establishing the brand that I read in their bio on their website was to be very inclusive, so that no matter what color skin you have, what kind of texture of skin you have, anyone and everyone can use the products from this brand. And I was like, hooray. Also, it's 100% cruelty-free. Yes. So I was thrilled to support this brand and create a look with this palette. So this is the OPV Beauty Spotlight palette. I love the packaging. I think it's stunning. And when we open it up, it's an 18 pan palette. There are, let's see, 7 mattes and 11 shimmers. So I got to choose the shades using my random generator app. And I chose 4 shimmers and 1 matte. Yes, I did. I knew this was going to happen at some point. I knew I was going to get more textures of one shadow than the other. I was hoping to have more mattes than shimmers. I don't normally use 4 shimmers in an eye look, but you know what? This is the challenge of doing these palette bingos, and you just have to go with it. Just run with it. So I'm going to show you the shades that I selected. The first one is Exhibit. It's kind of this coppery gold shimmer. Then I got Focus, which is a little bit deeper of that same tone. Then I got Limelight, which is this light blue shimmer here. Then I got Dream, this dark blue shimmer, kind of royally blue shimmer. And then I got Exposure. This is the black matte of the palette. And I did swatch that on my arm here. I'll show you the color story. That's it. So I'm going to be creating a look with 4 shimmers and 1 matte today. Yes, and I cannot wait to see what Pia does with this. She is incredible with shimmers. If you go to her Instagram page, you will be like, oh, yes, her looks are so beautiful. So if you're interested to see the look that I'm going to create with the 5 shades that I randomly selected from the OPV Beauty Spotlight palette with my collab with MAKEUPBYPIAW, then please sit back, relax, and let's get started. All right, let's get started with this look using the OPV Beauty Spotlight palette. I do have all of my face makeup on, and my eyelids are primed in the Louise Eyeshadow Base in Rumour 01, and my brows are done. Everything will be listed in the description box, so please go there and check that out if you're interested to see what else I have on my face today. All right, this is the palette bingo with PIAW. Oh my gosh, 4 shimmers, 1 matte. Ugh. And I think what I'm going to do is start off with this shade here, this shade called Dream. I'm going to put that down towards the outer part of my lid. And let me grab a brush here. And then I think what I'm going to do too, I haven't done a story time in a while, and I thought I would share with you guys some of my Thanksgiving shenanigans that my cousin and I would pull during our Thanksgivings when we were growing up. I know Thanksgiving has come and gone, but I just, we planned this for the 28th, so obviously Thanksgiving's over. So you're getting late Thanksgiving story time. So let me start off with Dream here. I'm going to load that up on my brush here, and I'm just going to tap that off a little bit. Now I'm using a little bit of a fluffier brush because I kind of want it to have a little bit more, to see if I can blend this out a little bit better than if I just use like a flat packing brush. So we'll see how it goes. All right, so I'm just going to start laying that down. And ooh, that's a very pretty blue shimmer. So growing up on Thanksgivings, most often, from the time I was like a baby until I was like 8 or 9, we would go to my grandparents' house, my biological dad's parents' house in Southern Oregon, in a town called Medford, which is about 3 hours south of where I live. And my cousins would also be there. My dad had an older brother who had 3 kids. So my oldest cousin was probably, I don't know, 10 years older than me. And then my second oldest cousin, she was probably about 8 years older than me. And then my cousin David, who he and I were the troublemakers, he was probably like 5 or 6 years older than me. And my grandparents were not bad grandparents. I don't mean to say that they were, because they weren't. They just weren't necessarily geared for little kids. Like, they didn't have a whole lot of toys for us to play with, and the toys that they had were like ridiculous. Or we could play with the magnets on the refrigerator. Okay, which was fun for like, 10 seconds, and then my cousin David would be like, hey, where's the matches? Just kidding, but kind of not kidding. So yeah, it was just kind of, up to us to create our own fun, and boy did we. So I was born in 1974, and in the late 70s, early 80s, there was a really popular TV show. Well, there's 2 popular TV shows. There was one called The Bionic Woman and one called The $6 Million Man. And they had their own shows. It was Lee Majors and Lindsay Wagner were the main actor and actress, but they were a couple, so they'd be on each other's shows too. And I was obsessed with Lindsay Wagner, okay? I wanted to be her. I thought she was the best thing ever. I wanted to name my daughter Lindsay if I ever had a daughter. I named her Sydney, but that's beside the point. And I just thought she was absolutely amazing, just wonderful. And I was obsessed with these shows, right? And the premise of the show is that they were like, I don't know, some kind of like government agent. I can't remember if like they were in the CIA or what, but they were like these just amazing agents, right? Just the best agents in the world. And they were in a hang gliding accident, and they were like on the brink of death. And so the government races these doctors in and turns them bionic. For instance, Lindsay Wagner, she had like bionic hearing now, so she could like hear through walls, and she had bionic legs, so she could run super duper fast. And then like the $6 Million Man, he had like, I don't know, superhuman strength. And so now they were like, really good agents because they were bionic. And I wanted to be bionic. I mean, that's all I wanted in my life, was just to be bionic. And of course, my cousin David knew this because I would talk to him about it every time we were around each other when I was little. So when I was 6 years old, we go down there for Thanksgiving. And this time during Thanksgiving, I'm gonna grab another brush and go into another color here. And I think what I'm gonna do is go into this Eco Tools brush. It's a double-ended brush. It's got kind of like a liner brush on this side and just kind of a more fluffier but kind of dense, I guess, packing brush on this side. And I'm gonna go into the Limelight shade and put that down next to it here. So like I said, when I was 6, ooh, that's gorgeous. Ooh, it's almost kind of like a silvery blue. That's really pretty. We go down there to spend Thanksgiving, and my cousin David, as soon as we get there, he instantly starts in about how I'm bionic, and he's going to convince me that I'm bionic, right? And of course, I was little, so I wanted to be one of the big kids, so I just fall head over heels right into his trap, okay? And this Thanksgiving, there was a lot more family members there than normal. Like my grandpa had, like, his siblings were there, like his brothers and sisters. So we were kind of underfoot and driving all the adults nuts, and it was super hot in the house. So we were told to go play out in the backyard, me and my cousins. So we did, went out there and played. And my cousin again starts in about how I'm bionic and that my legs are bionic and I can run just like Lindsay Wagner, like the Bionic Woman. And he convinces me that I can run as fast as I can and bust right through the screen door. Like there was like a sliding glass door and a screen door that led out into the backyard. And because it was so hot, my grandma had opened up the sliding glass door and shut the screen door. So he convinces me that I'm going to run through this thing, okay? And I'm dressed like a princess. My mother would always put me in the most fluffy, ruffly dresses that she could find, okay? So I go in, get my tennis shoes on, and I'm just ready to go, right? And I remember telling my cousin, like, I'm going to get in trouble because I'm going to break the screen door. And he's like, oh, no, you're bionic. Everybody knows you're bionic. It's okay. Don't worry about it. You're not going to get in trouble. And I'm thinking, oh, okay. Whatever. So, but still not going to back down from this challenge. I'm going to do this. So go in, get my shoes on, go back outside, go to the very edge of the grass in the very back of the yard and take off at a full sprint. In my mind, I'm just flying across the yard, and my cousin is in the background doing the bionic running noise, the ch-ch-ch-ch-ch-ch-ch-ch, and I'm just headed right for that screen door. And I hit the screen door forehead first and bounced myself backwards probably, I don't know, 8 to 10 feet, landed in the grass on my back, totally knocked the wind out of myself, and didn't do any damage to the screen door, but totally like made a fool out of myself. And my cousins are just laughing hysterically in the background. So I'm going to go into a different color, different brush, and I'm going to go into this shade here called Exhibit. I'm going to put that down towards the front part of my lid. And I just remember sitting down for dinner, And I think I might spray this actually, because it's not as vibrant as I thought it was going to be. I mean, it's beautiful, but it's just, I need to spray it, I think. I remember sitting down for dinner, my mom looking over at me, and she's like, what is wrong with your forehead? And I had this huge mesh imprint of the screen door right in the middle of my forehead, and it was bleeding. I'm like, nothing. And she's like, no, what did you do? And after her basically threatening me within inches of my life, I admitted to her that, yeah, I had tried to run through the screen door because I'm bionic. Don't you know I'm bionic? And my mom was like, David, knock it off. She's not bionic. Because this is the kind of stuff that David would always do. He'd try to convince me that I was like superhuman and I could do all these crazy things, and I'd end up getting hurt. So yeah, she was like, that's enough. Do I need to separate you two? And yeah, it's great. And then I can remember one year we would play freeze tag in the living room after dinner. And I was in, you know, my fluffily, ruffly dress and my tights. And basically freeze tag is when you run around the room like a maniac and someone yells freeze, and then you just are supposed to freeze in whatever position you're in. I don't remember if there was like a winner or a loser to it. That's just what we would do. I mean, it was just something to do. And I remember I stood up on the back of my grandparents' couch and put my arms out in my full glory, my fluffily, ruffly dress, and someone yelled, freeze! And I like jerked and like fell back behind the couch, in between the couch and the wall, bashed my head, scraped up both my elbows. It was just ridiculous. And my mother came running out there because of course I was in tears, and she's like, you guys, oh my God, stop it. My poor mother. And then typically, my cousins would always spend the night at my house because they lived down there too. They lived down in Medford, and they would stay the night at my grandparents' house with me on Thanksgiving night. And sometimes, you know, the whole weekend, just so that like, you know, we could get up together and play. And I can remember 2 occasions of this happening. And it may have happened more than twice, but I do vividly remember twice this happening. My cousin David could flip his eyelids up. He would like grab a hold of his lashes and flip his lids up so that like the red part of the eyelid would show. And I would try to do it, but mine would never stay, but his would stay. And this is a gorgeous shade, by the way. I really enjoy this. I think out of the 3 that I've used so far, that Limelight is just stunning. So what he would do is he would wake me up in the middle of the night. My cousins, us girls would sleep in a bedroom at my grandparents' house, and David was put on the couch in his sleeping bag. And he would come wake me up at like, I don't know, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning with his flashlight, and he would flip his eyelids up, and we would go down the hallway to my grandparents' room. This is just a plain little Luxie brush that I got in that little set a while back in like one of my earlier videos. And there's nothing on it. I'm just going to go kind of around the edge there, just kind of blend that out just so it's a little bit less harsh looking. He would flip his eyelids up. We would go down the hallway to my grandparents' bedroom. We would go into my grandparents' room, and we would go over to my grandma's side of the bed, and he would like, you know, nudge her to wake her up. And as soon as she would look at him, like wake up and look at him, he'd flip the flashlight on under his face with the eyelids flipped up and go, hi, Grandma, and just scare the living, you know what, out of her. And she would scream, and David, get out of here. And oh my God, my parents would get up and, what are you 2 doing? And I'm like, he made me do it. Horrible. Just idiots. And my grandma and grandpa would be so annoyed. And I think eventually, well, I know eventually that they just started locking their bedroom door on Thanksgiving night because they were afraid that my cousin and I were going to come in and scare them in the middle of the night. Another thing that I used to do, which was not very nice, is my grandma would make this concoction. Now I'm going to go into the black matte. I'm just basically going to kind of put that down kind of like as a liner, just kind of make a little kind of wedge shape with the black matte. Just kind of at the base of my lid here, right above my lashes. My grandma would make this kind of strange concoction. I mean, I think it's weird. I think a lot of people actually really like it. My husband loves it. But it's like this sweet potato casserole, and you put like, I don't know, brown sugar and marshmallows in it. And I just think it's kind of strange. And, but it's just something that I've never really liked. But I would go out into the kitchen after my grandma had made this, and it was sitting on the counter cooling. And I would go out there and I would start picking the chunks of brown sugar and also the marshmallows out. So by the time that it got to the table, all of the brown sugar and the marshmallows had been picked out of it by moi. I got away with it one year. My mom was like grilling me. She's like, did you pick that stuff out of there? Did you eat all that? I'm like, no, no, no. And I kept it together and lied very well. Horrible. I mean, how awful. If my kids had done that, I'd been like, oh my God, you're in so much trouble. But, you know, I was trying to save my own butt. And so I was like, oh no, I did not do that. I promised Mom I would never do that. And then the second year, and I was probably like, I don't know, 7 or 8. And then the second year that we went down there, or the year after that when we went down there, I tried it again and got caught. And I got in a lot of trouble. So that I was not allowed. And I was probably actually like 6, I think. I think it was the same year that I slammed my face into the screen door. But the next year I got caught, and then I was not allowed to be in the kitchen anymore while people were cooking, and especially while things were on the counter cooling off. Whoops. So yeah, that was great. And then I mentioned in another video that my parents got divorced when I was 10. And so then after my parents got divorced, obviously we weren't going to my biological dad's parents' house anymore. We started going to my mom's side of the family's get-togethers for Thanksgiving, and they also lived in Medford. Both my parents grew up in Medford. So did my stepdad. They all grew up down there. And I think I'm going to bring this in just a little bit because I kind of brought it in further on this side than I did on this side. Making it even, that's always the challenge. But we would go down there, and my mom, it was at my mom's aunt and uncle's house that we would stay. And she had cousins that were her age, like in their, 50s, I guess. And then they all had kids that were close to my age. I was like the 3rd youngest, so most of them were older than me. The majority of them were boys, but I did have one older girl cousin. And they were just a lot of fun. I mean, they were like, you know, older than me enough that they could like drive and things like that. So like we would go to movies, and it was a great time. And then I had 2 younger cousins too that would kind of tag along with us. It was always really fun. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I am going to be doing my lower lash line. And I think what I'm going to do is start off with the black shade in my lower lash line. Let me grab a brush for that. I'm just going to grab this little lining brush here, and I'm going to go into the black matte called Exposure, and I'm just going to put that down towards the, kind of blend that in a little bit with the upper shade. And I have more of a wing on this side than that side. That's why I don't do winged eyeliner, because I just can't get it right. But, you know, it's as good as it's going to get today, folks. Okay. So when I was 13, we went down to my great aunt and uncle's house, and this year we decided to go sledding. And there's a place down in Southern Oregon called Mount Ashland where you can sled and ski. It's really a neat place, and it's actually the town that my daughter went to college in. And it's a really fun town. So we had gone to like the store, and we'd gotten these like cheap plastic round sleds to go sledding. And it was me and, let's see, 3 of my older cousins. Like, I don't know, they were like probably in high school. I was in 8th grade, so they were probably like in high school, 15, 16, 17 years old. And then my 2 younger cousins that were probably like, I don't know, 10 and 8. And so my oldest cousin drove us, and we got there, had a great time sledding. It was wonderful. I'm gonna clean this brush off a little bit and go into the shade. Let's see, I'm gonna go into the shade Dream. Put this down right here. We had gotten to the end of our day of sledding, and we were kind of just thinking about packing it up and going home, but we were just kind of sitting in the snow. Kind of like we were like laying on our stomachs on our sleds, like eating trail mix, my cousins and I. And all of a sudden I hear this, "Watch out for the sled." And of course I look in the direction that I hear the voice coming from, and this huge wooden sled is like barreling right towards my face, and it just slams right into my face, like right here. I mean, like full blown, just wham. And I instantly am like, oh no. And I can feel my face instantly swelling up. It hurts so bad, and it was bleeding. And it didn't like cut my face, but it kind of like split the skin. I don't know how to describe it. It wasn't like a gash or a big cut. It was just kind of split. But man, it got swollen just instantly, and like started to like turn colors, and it was gross. So my cousin was like, all my cousins, they were like, okay, let's go, let's get you home. So I remember we get back to my great aunt and uncle's house, and my mom takes a look at me, and she's like, oh no, what happened? I'll grab my other brush here. Now I am going to go into this shade here, this Focus shade. I'm going to put that down towards the front part of my lower lash line. And then I think what I'm going to do is put Limelight as my inner corner shade. I thought that'd be kind of cool to kind of tie that light blue into that. Oh, that's pretty. I think I might like this deeper coppery or gold shade. I'm not sure exactly if it's copper or gold. I'm so horrible about that. I think I like it better than the lighter shade that I used on the lid. I mean, they're pretty similar, but I don't know. This just seems to have like a little bit more pigmentation. I had to kind of layer that other one down quite a bit. Luckily, my great aunt and uncle, they had a friend that was a dentist, and they called him, and he said, well, just meet me down at the office and we'll take an x-ray and see what's going on. And he x-rayed my face, and nothing was broken. Nothing was broken. I mean, he said it basically just hit her right where it should have hit her, because if it had hit her a little bit above or below, I mean, it would have knocked my teeth out, or it would have broken this, whatever that bone is in my face. and it didn't, thank God, but it looked pretty ugly for quite a while. It got really bruised and swollen, and it was just not fun at all. But we never went sledding again after that, unfortunately. Kind of stunk, but hey, it's okay. But yeah, those are the fun times that I had Thanksgiving growing up. All right, now I'm going to go into the shade Limelight, and I'm going to put that down in my inner corner here. I'm getting much better about using inner corner shades, but these are really nice shimmers, and that black matte is gorgeous. It's gorgeous. I do have a little bit of fallout that I'm going to clean up when I go off camera, but I really like it a lot. It's very pretty. Very, very pretty. And very pigmented black. I love that. I love finding good black mattes. Those are my, it's always my challenge. Like when I get a palette that's got a black matte, I'm like, how good is it? Is it going to be really good, or is it going to be just kind of good? We'll see. But I think this one's really good. Okay, so I am going to go off camera. I'm going to clean things up a little bit, add the finishing touches such as liner, mascara, and lipstick. And I promise I will show you my mascara this time. I think my last 3 videos when I've come back to show you my finished look, I just forget that I used mascara. So please hang out, relax. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back, and this is the finished look. I really like how this look turned out. I was so nervous when I pulled the shades using my random generator and discovered that I had pulled 4 shimmers and 1 matte. I was like, but I think I pulled them together pretty well. I mean, you guys can be the judge of that. I really enjoyed using this palette. I love the shades. One in particular wasn't necessarily my favorite, but I really liked the other ones I selected. So let's look at the palette again. This is the OPV Beauty Spotlight palette that I used in my Palette Bingo collab today. The shades I used were this one here, Exhibit, Focus, Limelight, Dream, and Exposure. And out of all of the shades, this one I think I liked the least. When I went off camera to put in my eyeliner and my mascara and my lipstick, I did go over that shade that I laid down one more time with another layer, and I just felt like it just needs a little bit more oomph. You know, the other ones, although I did have to kind of layer them too, I mean, they're kind of softer, I guess, shimmers. They're not super like bam in your face, but they're gorgeous. But this one definitely needed a little bit more work than the other ones did. And this one I didn't really use a ton. I just put a little bit of that down on my lower lash line. But I think this is a really nice formula. I think it's a beautiful palette, and I definitely want to support this brand. I love the idea of the inclusivity that this brand wants to promote. I think that's amazing. I love the fact that they're sisters. And the only thing I really knew about this brand going into this was that it was from London. And now I know a lot more, and I'm just thrilled to be able to use this palette finally in this palette bingo. And I definitely want to get more palettes from the brand. I think this is a really nice, beautifully pigmented palette. Like I said, this one, not necessarily my favorite shade, but you know what? There was plenty of other shades to choose from, and I really want to use this again and create some more looks with this. I think it's gorgeous. I also wanted to go over a few other things that I used on my finished look. For my mascara, I used the Scandaleyes Curve Alert from Rimmel. I love this mascara. I think it's gorgeous. Makes your lashes look longer and thicker, and I really enjoy using this. I'm kind of getting low on it, so I'll probably go out and get another tube of this, or container of this, whatever you want to call it. But it's gorgeous, and it's really cheap, and I love it. Love it, love it. I love Rimmel eye products. I think they're gorgeous. And then for my waterline, I use the NYX Professional Makeup Epic Wear Liner Stick in the shade Goldplated. I didn't use anything on my upper lid since I used the black matte from the palette to kind of line my eyes. I thought maybe that'd be a little overkill, so I just put this on my waterline. I think this is gorgeous. I kind of wanted to tie in the goldish aspect of the eye look, and I really like these. They're really nice. They go really well in the waterline, and they stay put. So this is one of my absolute favorite eyeliners. And then for my lips, I use the Cara Beauty Liquid Metal Lipstick in the shade Escape. I know this probably doesn't go very well with the eye look. I was going to use a more bronzy shade, and I thought, you know what? No, I'm going to break the mold here. I'm going to do something that I wouldn't normally do, and I'm going to grab a very bold, beautiful pink lipstick color, and I did. And I love these. I know I've mentioned that many times on my channel. These are really nice liquid lipsticks. They do, like I said, look a little odd as the day progresses, but you know, if you touch them up, which I don't, because I don't know why I don't. I just don't do that. But these are gorgeous. They stay put. They don't transfer. They're amazing to wear. So definitely wanted to try something bold and beautiful for this eye look today, because I know that Pia is going to go all out. She's going to go all out. She always does. Beautiful. And I'm so excited to see Pia's look. I cannot wait. I'm so glad that we're uploading on a Sunday. That way I'm not at work and I can just sit down with my coffee and watch her video. I'm so excited. I will definitely have her channel linked in my description box. Go to Pia's channel and subscribe and watch her videos. She is such an amazing person. I love Pia so much. I'm so glad that we connected on Instagram and have become such good friends. And I hope this is one of many collabs that we do throughout our YouTube journey together. Thank you guys so much for taking time out of your busy day or evening to sit down and watch my video. It always means the world to me. If you have subscribed or you would like to subscribe, do not forget to hit the notification bell. That way you're aware of all of my future uploads. I can't wait to see you guys again in my next video, but in the meantime, please take care of yourself, be well, safe, happy, and I hope to see you again soon. Take care, you guys. Thanks again. Bye.